Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome! So today I would like to go through all the features scheduled to release in Alpha 3.16. These videos are made possible thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. Thank you all so much for the support. We've also made it to 51% of my viewers being subscribed, so thank you so much for getting us over that 50% mark. So Alpha 3.16 is the final patch of 2021. And although it's not scheduled until late in December, to finish off my roadmap series, it's only right that I break down the features for this patch. Of course, with 3.16 being so far away, it does mean that many of the features for this release are even more tentative than any other patch before it, but it does give us a current insight into CIG's plans and hopes for the end of 2021. So with that said, let us take a look at what CIG are hoping to release for the Q4 patch, Alpha 3.16. So let's kick off with the locations. We have Orison version 2, with the Crusader planet and its related landing zone Orison scheduled to release around June this year. Like with every landing zone that has come before it, CIG will continue to update and improve them. This card is to improve the landing zone with more shops and expand the various services found around the city. What those additional shops and services are exactly, we don't know. Could one of them be the Space Whale tours? It's possible. Personally, I am very excited to see Orison for the first time, as I feel it'll be quite a contrast to any of the previous landing zones that we've had before. I will also likely make it my new home. So moving on to gameplay, we have weapon misfire and wear. This says it will add the potential for certain weapons to misfire or malfunction depending on various factors. So likely as your weapon ages or gets damaged, they will begin to suffer from issues, thus requiring the player to maintain them and keep them in as good a condition as possible. So I do expect with the release of the weapon misfire and wear that we will have a method to maintain our weapons. Whether that will be via an NPC planetside to begin with, or if it's something that we can do ourselves straight away, I don't know. But it will certainly give us more attachment to all of our weapons, as we will see them visibly age and obviously misfire. Now ladders tier 1 is the next feature, and this is to improve the freedom and control while traversing ladders. Specifically, we will be able to aim and shoot weapons, use gadgets, heal and complete other one-handed actions while climbing a ladder. We'll also have the ability to dodge to the side and avoid gunfire or falling debris. So I feel that this one will actually be quite a big improvement for ladders. Right now they do kind of leave you very vulnerable, so having the ability to shoot and heal will be useful, but it could also mean we might see some various other actions like accessing components halfway up and then being able to replace them. I do think this will probably have a lot to do with Squadron 42, in particular the falling debris side of things. Maybe there's a scene or a level in which we're climbing up a ladder and there's things being thrown down at us or people shooting at us, but it'll come to the verse as well, so that's good to see. So the next feature we have is physicalized weapon handling. As always, CIG want to fully immerse the player into the game. This is one that will significantly help. It introduces character animations while interacting with and customizing our FPS weapons. The aim of this, they say, is to add a tactile look and feel to weapon handling. So seeing our hands physically removing or equipping items like sights and scopes and silencers will be very cool, and of course this is purely speaking about weapon interactions for this particular card, but CIG will be creating character interactions with all of the relevant objects in the game, be that control panels or ship MFDs. Nothing that's going to significantly make the gameplay better, but it will certainly look very cool. So the next feature is one that I am very excited to see, and it is lockers and inventory. This will introduce a consistent way to store clothing, armor and other items in a physicalized state. It also introduces a more robust and tactile method for storing items on shelves and attachment services, building upon the personal inventory. Now, physical inventories and all that entails is a feature that I am most looking forward to this year. Having only what you can carry and using backpacks, pockets, crates and lockers for storing things is going to be a very important aspect of Star Citizen. And obviously how we interact with these aspects will be equally important, as it'll be something that we use all the time. Physicalizing all items and assets will mean we will be able to find and loot bodies, wrecks, planetside locations and so much more, and I cannot wait to find a shipwreck and gather up all the weapons and items that you can use or maybe that you think is worth boxing up and then using or selling later on. I do hope that we will be able to sell any item we find as soon as possible, as this will be a great way of making extra UEC. Hopefully we're not going to be waiting until December to be able to sell items back to shops though. So we have seen over the past few months progress on fires and how they spread, and even the use of a fire extinguisher. It appears for 3.16 we will have the ability to put out fires, which of course means that there will be ways for fires to start. Now whether we will be needing to tackle fires inside of our ships, I don't know, but I'd like to think so. I do expect there will be missions requiring us to use extinguishers, maybe around areas like space stations, as we have heard they are planning to introduce missions to truck stops, like EVA missions to take players out onto the surface of the space stations for investigations, repair, and potentially combat, which could result in the need to use a fire extinguisher. Other than that, it'll be interesting to see what situations we'll be needing to use fire extinguishers in the game. So next up we have Player Slide. Now this is not a super exciting one, but a useful one I'm sure, and as you can probably imagine, this will allow players to traverse short distances by sliding around on the floor. So great for getting to cover while under fire, and it looks pretty cool when you can actually pull it off. Prone is the next feature, and this card is for all the tasks required to improve the proning movement, so proning being laying down. Now I'm not entirely sure what these improvements will involve, but it'll most probably be quality of life improvements, which are always welcome in my book. So for ships and vehicles we have shield emitters. This is converting all of the ship shield emitters into physical objects that can be targeted and destroyed, giving players the ability to permanently disable enemy shields. Now, is this the starting point of physical components? Are they starting with the shield emitters and then expanding from there, as we don't see any of the components mentioning that they will be physical on the roadmap viewer. But having destructible shields will mean more tactics for ship-to-ship combat. Targeting areas that house shield emitters to permanently disable them will be a great addition. I do wonder if we will also have the ability to replace them inside our ships, which could require players to maybe reroute the power from the disabled shield and then run to the shield emitter's location and physically swap them out with a new one to get it back up and running again. I don't know at what stage the rest of the components or even physical damage will be around December this year. It is possible that they won't be implemented by then, but if having physical shields is the starting point, then it'll just expand from there. So finally we have Cortec for 3.16. The first feature is dynamic door alignment. Now this will allow doors and elevators across all the ships to dynamically adjust to the terrain below. So again, more of a quality of life improvement, but quite an important one at the same time. Instead of doors, ramps and elevators pushing the ships up off the ground as it lowers, it'll detect where the ground is in relation to the extension and then stop opening once it reaches that. It is nice to finally see a solve for this issue, even if it isn't coming until the end of the year. So for the final one, we have a bit of a wild card. It's the Origin M50 engine swap. Very unusual to see on the roadmap without any real context as to why or hearing about it in the past. My guess for seeing this is due to Squadron 42 and Bronson's Bolts, who are an elite advocacy unit who fly modified M50s. One of which we got a very tiny glimpse of during the intro to the briefing room, and all I can think is that they need this option for Squadron 42, so why not make it available in the PU at the same time. What is interesting about it is it does kind of open the door for potentially other ships having the ability to completely swap out engines. Obviously this could just apply to the M50, but it would be great if all racing ships had this option. So one thing that I would like to point out about Alpha 3.16 is that there are no ships listed to release. Now this is most likely due to CIG not being certain at what they want to release around that time, as well as they will probably want to keep some of them as a surprise. I have linked another of my videos below in which I take a look at all the ships that are listed on the progress tracker, which doesn't show necessarily a release date, only sprint durations. But do check it out if you want to see what ships are finishing certain sprints at what time of the year. 3.16 is pretty much a blank canvas, meaning that CIG will have some ships to surprise us with, and whether they are known or unknown ships at this time is anyone's guess, but do expect ships to get added to the 3.16 patch. So that is the rundown of the very last patch of the year. I have covered 3.13, 14 and 15 in separate videos. Again, I've linked them below in the description if you want to check them out. Of course, with it being a full year ahead, things are most definitely going to move and change, so do expect things to be removed and also new items to be added as priorities change. Either way though, 3.16 does have some interesting features to look forwards to. But with that said, if you do enjoy my videos, please consider hitting subscribe to keep up with all the development and tick that notification bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live. Also, hit that thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, it does the channel a huge favour. And if you want to come and chat more about Star Citizen, or if you've got any questions about the game, you are all more than welcome over on my Twitch channel, which is linked in the description. It is twitch.tv/supermacbrothersryan. Again, thank you to my patrons and channel members, your support is truly appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.